Welcome back to the Skitch on Wheels channel, everyone. Thanks for dropping in. Wow, let me tell you, 2025 is going to be a great year for the lightweight adventure motorcycle market. In this video, I'm going to highlight 5 models that are fighting to be the leader of the pack. 2 of them are already in production, 2 that will come out in 2025, 1 that could possibly come out in 2025, and if it does, it could win it all. Let's first touch on why the year 2025 will be the year of the lightweight ADV bike. As the adventure community continues to grow, there's been a demand for these lighter weight ADV bikes that are going to be good both on-road and off-road. Today's ADV rider is more diversified. There's more women, young riders, urban riders that are hopping on adventure motorcycles, wanting to experience the great outdoors and head on an adventure. Adventure motorcycles are no longer just for the hardcore ADV rider. This is the hottest market in motorcycling right now, and for good reason. Did you know that the average age motorcycle rider today is 48 years old? And if you break that down into the ADV market, their age is 50 to 54 years old. Think about that. Think about that type of rider, riders like me. Do I really need a 900 to 1300 cc ADV bike? Could I even pick it up if I dropped it? Could I use 50% of the power available to me? Are we riding these bikes like we see in the promos and the commercials? No. Do we want to? Sure. Do we think that we might get there someday? Yeah, we'd like to think that, but are we really going to? Probably not. Senior riders like myself, we're not as fit as we used to be. I like a light bike. I like one that's nimble and more manageable. And let me add to that, and this is a saying that holds true, I'd rather go fast on a slow bike than slow on a fast bike.
I'm drafting a Grom, folks. I'm drafting a Grom.
The great news is manufacturers have finally figured out who we are, what we need, and more importantly, what we want. In 2025, if you're a manufacturer and you aren't designing or you don't have a good 400 to 500 cc lightweight ADV bike, you're missing the market. Now's the time. Let's take a look at the bikes. Let's start with the talk of the town. At the ICOMS show in Italy, it was unveiled that one of the biggest motorcycle manufacturers in ADV history has entered the market. You probably know what brand this is. They're at the top of the list. Now, not everybody likes them. No one wants to spend that kind of money, but they are innovative and they do a really good job in the ADV market, and we've been missing them in this 400 to 500 cc market. That's BMW. And it was a surprise. I don't think they had told anybody. I don't think it was leaked. All of a sudden, this BMW F450 GS shows up about 2 weeks ago, and it looks amazing. It's a competitive market, and the more people that get in it, the more higher quality bikes we're gonna get, the more features we're gonna get, and you might not want that. I have a Himalayan 411. You know, and I know the 452 has got a lot of stuff added to it. I love my 411 for the simplicity of it. But if you want a little bit more, it's coming. Let's go through the BMW F450 GS. So the engine is a 450 cc 2-cylinder liquid cooled engine. It's going to produce about 48 horsepower. It's got a 6-speed transmission. It looks like it's going to have Brembo brakes on it. You know, and again, this is a concept bike. Things can change all the time, and they might tweak it a little bit to get the cost down. They're always going to put the best thing out there that they have when it comes to these shows. When we talk about the weight, they say it's going to be 385 pounds wet. That's light, folks. That's great. That's going to be lightest in class, I believe. It looks like it's going to have the regular 6.5 TFT display that the larger BMW bikes have. That's a great system. People love it. It does a lot. It's got so many modes on it. If they pull that off, that's going to be a great selling point for this 450. A lot of these specs that we have are just by looking at the bike. They haven't come out and told us a whole lot, but it does look like the suspension is going to be fully adjustable. The wheels are spoked. It looks to be tubeless. Now, here's a bit of a negative for the 450. The front wheel is a 19-inch front wheel. Rear wheel 17-inch. A 19-inch front wheel for a true off-road bike is too small in my opinion. I grew up riding dirt bikes. My Himalayan has a 21 front inch wheel. I just like that larger wheel out front. Now there's rumor that this bike is going to also come in a street version, and that might be why that they chose the 19-inch front wheel, because it's a better wheel for street riding. Seat height, we don't know. I've seen people sit on this bike. It looks a little bit tall to me. Other things we don't know is the torque. To me, it looks like a more off-road bike, so I imagine it has some good low-end torque. Fuel capacity, we don't know. List price, we don't know, but we're talking about BMW, folks. You can guess that it's gonna be the highest of all the 400 to 500cc bikes out there, and you're probably looking at 9 to 10 grand. So that's some big news coming forward from BMW. Great to see that bike coming into the market. I can't wait for it to come out and take a look at it. I can't wait to test ride it. Next up, a bike that's been in production but gets a pretty decent upgrade is the KTM 39 Adventure. It is now known as the KTM Adventure. It's going to be known in 2025 as the 390 Adventure R. So what's the difference? What's the big changes? Well, from what I hear, the engine's going to go from 373 cc's to 399 cc's. Still going to be a single cylinder liquid cooled engine producing 45 horsepower, 27.3 foot-pounds of torque, and should have a 6-speed transmission. Again, we don't know everything about this bike. We don't know what the weight's gonna be. We don't know the fuel capacity, but some things that we noticed from the bike at the ICOM show was it did have a 5-inch TFT display. That's gonna be an improvement for the bike. Another thing it's gonna have is the WP fully adjustable suspension that KTM makes in-house and is known for. Seat height looks to be about 34.8 inches. The wheels are spoke. Here's a big change for this 2025 model. It's gonna be a spoke tube tire, but the biggest change is the front wheel is gonna go to a 21-inch versus, I think it was a 19 before. It might have even been an 18 to match the rear. It just, to me, it looked small, it looked goofy. It was not my favorite when it comes to aesthetics and looking at the bike, but wow, this 21-inch front wheel changes the whole dynamic of the bike, how it looks. Now it's on my radar. I think that's a great change that KTM has needed to do for a long time, and on this Adventure R, it's gonna be done. The other new big change is the front end. It just looks so much better now. I don't know what you would call that old front end. It almost looked alien, I'm not sure, but now it's looking a little bit more like a motorcycle on the front end. To me, the old one was ugly. This one looks a whole lot better. Here's another big change for this bike, and this bike is looking like an off-road bike, but they're gonna put cruise control on it. So that tells you that they know people are gonna ride these bikes to where they need to go, to where they're gonna go off-road. I think that's a great feature to have. The price is not known yet. I feel it's gonna go up a little bit. I think the Adventure was around $6,500. You could probably expect this bike to be 7 to 8 grand. But all in all, KTM, they finally did it. They finally gave us a small, lightweight adventure bike that looks like an adventure bike. If it can perform off-road the way their other big adventure bikes have performed, this is gonna be a great contender in the market for those that are riding at least 50% off-road. It'll be interesting to see this bike when it comes out, to take a look at it in person, and it should, again, be out in 2025. So next, let's talk about a bike that is beloved and hated all at the same time. People have some pretty strong feelings about this bike. Some of it's based on the country that it's made in. You know, I'm not gonna hold judgment to that. I know it looks like a great bike on paper. I haven't ridden one, I've seen one in person, but the CFMOTO IBEX 450 is definitely on the list of being one of the top bikes in this class. It's 449 cc's, 2-cylinder, liquid cooled, 44 horsepower, 32.5 foot-pounds of torque. It has a 6-speed transmission, 386 pounds dry, pretty good weight, 5-inch screen display. It's got spoked tubeless wheels, a 21-inch in the front, an 18-inch in the rear, 4.6 gallon tank. It's got KYP fully adjustable suspension. Seat height is a respectable 32.2 inches. So here's something that makes this bike a little bit special. It has a one-touch button, ABS on and off. It comes with foldable mirrors. It also has an on-the-fly adjustable screen. Obviously it comes with USB-C as well. And so this bike has a lot of extras on it that some of the other bikes don't have. When I look at the CFMOTO 450, I'm looking at a grown-up ADV bike in a 450 package. And I don't know if I like it or not, to be honest with you. The other bikes seem a little bit smaller, even though they're not. For some reason, this bike looks like just a scaled-down version of a bigger bike. And I'm not sure if I'm sold on it. I don't know if it's what I'm looking for. There's something about having a smaller looking bike that appeals to me. but it gets rave reviews. I can't say that it's a bad bike in any way, and it might even take the cake when it comes to this market. The price of this bike is just $6,500. You get a lot for your money with this IBEX 450. I cannot look at this bike and say there's one thing that stands out that's wrong with it. I just need to get on it, need to ride it, but it's gotten rave reviews and it could win this class. I'm glad CFMOTO is in the market. They put some things on their bike that makes other manufacturers have to stand up and take notice and possibly add to their bikes. So once again, the more people in this market, the merrier. Another great thing about the CFMOTO IBEX 450, it's in production. You can go buy one. It's been difficult to get though, so you're gonna have to put your name on the list probably. But yeah, they're making them. They're gonna be here and you can go buy one today. Next up, kind of a fan favorite here because I have a Himalayan 411, the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. I've test ridden this bike for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and just was thrilled with it. Can't say there was one thing that I really didn't like about it. It's a 452cc engine. It's a big upgrade in horsepower with 39 horsepower over the 24 horsepower in the previous model. It's liquid cooled now, still one cylinder, but a big engine upgrade for this model. It now gets a 6-speed transmission, which it really needed to be able to do highway speeds. Still about the same weight, 432 pounds wet. It's got a 4-inch round TFT display screen. It's very usable. The seat height is adjustable, one of the few in this market. Can go from 32.5 inches to 33.3 inches. So that's good to have some adjustment in the seat. Big tank, it's got 4.5 gallon tank. It's also new for 2025 is Showa shocks. I can say that they did an excellent job when I rode it. They are not adjustable though, and the rest of the market has adjustable shocks, so that's something to think about. Here's something that Royal Enfield offers that the others don't. It comes with a spoke tube or tubeless tire. So yeah, you can get it tubed or tubeless. It has a 21-inch front wheel and an 18-inch rear wheel. They made them a little bit wider this year for a little bit better handling. Some of the benefits of this bike, it does have a one-touch ABS off button, does have a USB-C port, and it does have map navigation built into the TFT. But one of the best things about this bike, you can get it for $6,000. So it is a great entry-level bike. The fact that the seat can be adjusted a little bit lower, it's a great bike for a beginner. Royal Enfield stepped up the game. They're now a player along with the KTM, CFMOTOs, BMWs, and lastly, the bike that could win it all. We all know the Aprilia Touareg 660 has gotten rave reviews and is an outstanding middleweight adventure bike. There's rumors that they're making a 457. And if they make a 457 as good as their 660, this bike is going to be a contender. So I'm excited to see if that comes out. I don't know if it's 2025, 2026. Rumors are it could be out in 2025, but it's been spotted out there. When it comes in production, I don't know, but as soon as it does, we'll take a look at it. Thanks for sticking through the whole video. I tell you what, 2025 I'm excited about. It's going to be a great year for adventure motorcyclists and for the lightweight division. The only negative is, how are we going to decide? How are we going to choose? We got so many good bikes in this class. Price might be a factor. Then you're looking at the Royal Enfield and the CFMOTO. Off-road ability, you're going to be looking at the BMW and the KTMs. There is so much available to us. It's going to be a great year in 2025. I can't wait to see these models on the showroom. I'm hoping I get to ride them. I'm hoping I get to test ride them. If I do, I'm going to show them all to you. But thanks for watching the channel. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, give me a like, leave some comments down below, and I'll catch you in the next video. What'd you just do, Zoe? You voted? You voted in the election? Oh, do you want to say who you voted for? You don't have to. Oh, you did? Did Daddy make you vote that? No? You know, you just wanted to, right? Yeah. So, Zoe asked me if she could vote today. And I really didn't know, but she's a registered voter. So we turned in her license, went to the voting booth,
And they said, yeah, absolutely, she has every right to vote. So I think this is the first presidential election that Zoe voted in, and she's thrilled. So am I.